Hello, fans and frenemies. Nate Drakenator here with another top 10. Y'all really enjoyed the last one. There was a lot of fun discussion in the comments on other cats who might deserve to go to the Dark Forest, or why other cats didn't, or people's OCs and fanfics and fun AU ideas, and boy howdy, did I get a lot of requests to follow through on that top 10 LGBT headcanon video that I mentioned. So these are my personal favorite headcanons right now, but just because these are my headcanons doesn't mean that they have to be yours. Headcanons can be fun and also personal, and for me, choosing to interpret characters as gay or trans like me is really comforting, because there aren't any in canon other than sort of Tallstar and Ravenpaw and Barley. Without further ado, let's get into it. My top 10 favorite LGBT warrior cats headcanons. Number 10. Pansexual trans boy Alderheart. I love Alderheart. He's such a good boy, and he doesn't get nearly enough love. Alderheart is so kind and empathetic, but also the way he's written, it's clear he suffers from anxiety. And since I also have anxiety, I really empathize with Alderheart. I love his interactions with Needletail, and I think that if things had gone differently, maybe they would have had a relationship. In my Aldershadow AU, they definitely do. I also think, though, that Alderheart would easily empathize with Puddleshine, who was also told to be a medicine cat even though he didn't really want to be, and is now just sort of doing his best with the cards he was dealt. I think that they would have a really nice relationship. I just really love Alderheart, and I think he's wonderful, and I can't wait to read more of Avos. Number 9. Non-binary Pinestar. So much of Pinestar's story revolves around not feeling like any of the options presented to him fit him, and so much of his life he was just sort of doing what other people expected of him because it didn't appear he had any other options. And when he finally told his clan that he was becoming a kitty pet, people were confused and couldn't understand his decision or empathize at all. As a non-binary person, it felt very familiar to me, playing along with a system that wasn't built for people like you. Because of that, I like to headcanon Pinestar as Pinestar as non-binary. He's one of my favorite characters, and I can't help but project a little bit onto him. Number 8. Lesbian Sasha. Now hold on! Before you point to her relationship with Tigerstar, let me explain. Sasha immediately connected with other women in her life, with Russet Fur and with Leopardstar, and those interpersonal relationships seem so much more healthy and genuine. Her relationship with Tigerstar, though, she didn't see him very often, and she had this idea of him in her head that didn't reflect reality. I've read so many stories from my lesbian friends about their experiences with compulsory heterosexuality, and Sasha's relationship with Tigerstar feels like that. Compulsory heterosexuality is something that can happen to people when you live in a society where being straight is considered the default. So if you're a gay person who doesn't yet know that they're gay, you might confuse something like admiration for attraction, or you might push yourself into a straight relationship because you feel like that's what you're supposed to be doing. And maybe the feelings you're having are what love or attraction is supposed to feel like, even if it's something else. Like I said, this is my personal headcanon. There's nothing wrong with thinking that Sasha is bi. But for me, I like lesbian Sasha, who recovers from the effects of compulsory heterosexuality only after Tigerstar's death by finally valuing the interpersonal relationships she has with women. Also, Sasha is one of my favorite characters, and I would die for her. Number 7. Bi Bluestar. I love Bluestar. I know a lot of people really hate Bluestar's prophecy and how it characterized her, but I felt like it was strong. Bluestar is cynical and mean and depressed. Death hits her so much harder than it does those around her. While others are able to eventually move past their grief, it sits in Bluestar's gut like a lead weight and never, ever goes away. It's inescapable for her, and it makes her actions and her downfall in Arc 1 so much more understandable. I love her as a complex, nuanced character. I also think that Bluestar is bi. She definitely loved Oakheart, I think, but also she was very close with Leopardfoot before Leopardfoot got Pinestar, and Rosetail, even though... But she was also very close with Leopardfoot before Leopardfoot got with Pinestar, and with Rosetail, and even with Sweetpaw before she died. I think that Bluestar had many important relationships with her life, and her heart got pulled in many directions. Number 6. He-Him Lesbian Cloudtail. Someone suggested this concept to me ages ago, and I immediately fell in love. I already adored the polyship of Daisy, Brightheart, and Cloudtail, but Cloudtail screams butch lesbian to me. If you don't know what a he-him lesbian is, your first thought might be a man who identifies as a lesbian, but that's completely wrong. A he-him lesbian is a lesbian who chooses to use he-him pronouns. The pronouns a person uses doesn't necessarily dictate their gender. A non-binary person might use they, or he, or she, and a girl can use he and a boy can use she if they want to. It doesn't really matter. Cloudtail is loud and proud and takes no shit from nobody. He's butch and a lesbian and in love with his beautiful fluffy wives. Number 5. Trans girl, lesbian, Tigerheart. So, like, I think we actually give Tigerheart Star a bad rap? So she's like, Tiger Star clone number 5, and that's kind of boring. So I definitely immediately was like, no thanks. But Tigerheart is also, like, kind, empathetic, and passionate, and if we hadn't been set up to hate this character because of the tiger clone situation, we probably wouldn't. A lot of A Vision of Shadows to me feels like attempts to do earlier plots that didn't reach their full potential, but better. Like, Violet Shine and Twigpaw are just Ivypool and Dovewing, but upgraded. Darktail is just Soul, but upgraded. And as I've recently come to believe, Tigerheart Star is just Brambleclaw, but upgraded. Like, Brambleclaw was a really good idea. Son of Tiger Star, refuses his violent history. Only, like, Brambleclaw trained with his dad despite fighting against him initially, and Tiger Star disowned his son like 3 times. So, like, Brambleclaw isn't very nice to people. It just, the whole story seemed kind of like they didn't really know what to do with him, and they went so many different directions it seemed really inconsistent and not very appealing. Tiger Star is, like, passionately kind and empathetic. So I want to give Tigerheart Star another shot. Tigerheart is, like, passionately kind and empathetic, so I want to give Tigerheart Star another shot. But before I had this revelation, I was thinking of a way to improve Tigerheart. And, like, Dovewing strikes me, personally, as a closeted lesbian. Terrified to be outed to her clanmates, terrified of not living up to expectations. Her narrative specifically reminds me of a way a friend described their lesbian experience to me once, and how they covered their fear of coming out to themselves as a lesbian with an obsession for perfectionism. And then I got this dynamic in my head where Tigerheart is essentially Chloe Price from Life is Strange, passionately out and proud as a trans girl and as a lesbian, and secretly dating Dovewing, who is afraid to come out, and even at one point getting mad at her for not just being proud to be out as gay to her clan, and then they break up because of it. But then her having to have her own journey and soul search where she realizes that Dovewing isn't like her, and is on her own journey with her own identity, and she apologizes for yelling at her, and says she'll support her if she wants to come out, or if she doesn't, whatever she thinks she needs. And it's one of my bigger sort of character headcanon shifts, but I have to say I really enjoyed this one because I think it just really improves Dovewing's motivations and emotional character arc, which do sort of seem all over the place and inconsistent. Number 4, lesbian Leopard Star. Hey, Leopard Star is gay. Leopard Star is definitely gay. And Sasha is her wife. And that's it. That's the end, baby. Lesbian Star is my beautiful daughter. I got nothing else to say here. Number 3. Lesbian trans girl Mothwing. Listen, this is my favorite AU, and the one I most enjoy playing with, but imagine if Mothpool had happened, but Leafpool still gave birth to the power of 3 kids. And Mothwing is the other parent. She's a trans girl, and Mothwing and Leafpool are in love, but because they ran away together instead of her and Crowfeather, they agree to break up and stick to their jobs, but they just can't. So imagine a lot of, like, pining for a really long time in Arc 3, and then finally, when the secret is out about who their parents are, they can't take it anymore, and they get back together, and they tell everyone to do whatever they want. They're doctors, and they're gonna heal people, and that's it. That's the end of the story. You can deal with it. I like to imagine even little side AUs where, like, Jayfeather was raised in RiverClan with Mothwing, but doesn't know she's his mother, or that Lionblaze basically looks exactly like her. I think that Lionblaze's story actually even makes more sense, too, if Tiger Star really is his grandfather, and Jayfeather being a super Star Clan medicine cat is kind of cool if both his parents are medicine cats. So, you know, it's like in his blood. I just love Mothwing because she has so much character potential as an atheist medicine cat, and the daughter of Tiger Star, and Hawkfrock's sister, and, like, she's just so interesting narratively, and she deserves a novella or some more attention. Number 2. Gay trans boy Silverstream. Now, I believe the first time this was suggested to me, it was an anonymous message on Tumblr, but it's become my bread and butter. So Kate Carey writes Greyfire fanfiction under her real name and says she imagines Greystripe as being, like, made of pure rainbows, and basically implies that that boy is gay as hell, but I really like his relationship with Silverstream, even if I think he made a lot of, like, stupid decisions. But imagine, Silverstream is a closeted trans boy. He can't tell anyone his clan, but he rescues this stupid ThunderClan boy from the river, and they chat for a while, and even become friends, and then, well, if he tells Greystripe, you know, no one else will find out because he can't even tell anybody they know each other. So it's safe to tell him his secret. So he does, and Greystripe is super supportive and happy and like, to hell with your clanmates if they don't support you. You're the coolest Tom I know. and Silverstream is just so happy, and then they have their whirlwind secret romance, and Silverstream finds comfort in the one person who knows the truth and supports him. I eat that shit up. Number 1. Trans man Redtail. Listen, trans headcanons don't need explanations. There's no reason I can't point at a character and say, oh, I'm trans, so I'm going to headcanon that character as trans too. Because I can. That shit is valid. But with Redtail, there is an explanation. I constantly see naysayers in the comments of my videos telling me to not turn normal cats trans, and 1, trans people are normal, and 2, cis is not the default. You don't know a character is cis. They say Redtail was a Tom. No one ever got into the nitty-gritty details. If you know anything about calicos, then you know that a calico Tom has XXY chromosomes, a genetic mutation that leaves it sterile. There's no other way to be a calico Tom. But hey, he's got a kid, so he can't be sterile. The likelihood of getting an XXY calico Tom anyway are 0.03. But the percentage of trans people in the United States is 0.6. That's 18 times more likely. At this point, it's just Occam's razor. Redtail being trans makes more sense. It's more likely. Soul being trans makes more sense. It's more likely that any male calico and warrior cats is trans than that they are cis and an XXY male. That's the tea. I like the idea of Redtail being trans and him and Reningwind being Sandstorm's dads. It's fun to play with narratively, and it also means that Ashfur isn't Squirrelflight's uncle anymore, because, that's gross. This is def my fave headcanon, and I desperately hope everyone else embraces it to the point where we all collectively forget about canon and just accept it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I got a ton of requests for it after I offhandedly mentioned it in my top 10 warriors who should go to the Dark Forest video, and, y'all know I'm big dumb gay who likes to make all my fave cats gay, too. What are your favorite LGBT headcanons for warriors characters? Do you have any reason for them, or do you just like it? Do you want a sequel to this video? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Nader's out.